Hello everyone, my name is Shannon and I am a rising third year. I just took my comlex in step 1 2 weeks ago, and so today I'm going to share with you how much I spent on prep and extra fees and costs for taking these exams. In between listing out the resources and the costs, I will also be sharing with you ways I saved money, and so I didn't have to pay as much as what the normal total would be. So let's get started. Before we start, I just want to let you know that I am very passionate about mentorship and advice giving, especially to pre-meds and med students below me. So if you have any struggles or need help, then go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and connect with me on my other social media such as Instagram and TikTok. So now let's get started. The main costs that you have to account for, I have broken down into 4 categories. Number 1 are resources. Number 2 is practice exams. Number 3 is cost of rescheduling and miscellaneous fees. And 4 is the actual cost of the exam. You'll be so surprised by how much it costs to be a med student, a second-year med student. I'm listing out the main resources that most med students use to ace step 1. These sources are research-based. So many students rave about them. They are the main tools that you may use or try out. This is Pathoma, and it is a skinny book that has all the pathologies from every system organ. It's very condensed, and it allows you to have a rapid review of the pathologies and all the histologies of what you need to know. And this book is included in the subscription, and you can get a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month subscription. I bought the 12-month subscription for $100, and that's because I used it with my classes as well. And you really can't share this resource because everyone needs to get a book, and you can only get a book if you buy the subscription. So what you can do is buy a shorter month subscription, and you and your friends can split the video subscription. Or if you just need the book, then you can just buy the book for a cheaper option, like a 3 months, and just use the book to annotate and read instead of watching the videos. But Dr. Satara videos are kind of helpful depending what kind of learner you are, so it's just up to you. The next resource that I use is Sketchy. Sketchy was originally produced by a group of medical students that felt there was a need for this type of learning style. These are videos that group images and objects together to help you form like a memory bank inside your brain so that you can have a faster recall when you come into contact with these questions or these minute details that you have to remember. They usually tell a story, and it describes all sorts of things that you have to remember with that disease or with that bacteria or drug. They will use clever symbols and I guess puns and closely similar words to help you memorize the detail you need to remember. For example, the crab in Sketchy is a symbol for cancer. So every time there is a crab in that image, I know that disease or drug or bacteria is associated with causing cancer. Sketchy is quite expensive. For a 12-month subscription, it costs $400. And so what I do is I share it with 9 other people, which totals to $44 per person. The account doesn't seem to have a lot of restrictions for you to be able to share it with someone else. I know that some of you guys might think that's wrong, that we're sharing an account, but it's just so ridiculously expensive, $400. And we're med students. Having the online version gives you quizzes, it gives you the pictures so you can click through the little images and objects without having to watch the whole video over again was really helpful. The next resource is Boards and Beyond, which is by Dr. Ryan, and he is the best person ever. I think that his videos are so high yield, and if you really watch all the videos and take notes over it, It is basically everything you need to know. He goes over every single topic and he explains why it comes to be. There are many resources that kind of just tells you what it is and you need to remember it, versus he explains how that comes to be, and that really helps you understand what's going on. 6-month subscription for Boards and Beyond is $149, or an 18-month subscription for $249. And I share this with one other person. So that's another thing. If you don't want to share with a big group of people, you can always swap resources. Like, let's say, oh, I'll buy Sketchy, you buy Boards and Beyond, and we can just share from one another. Another resource that I found tremendously useful and was basically my Google search engine was embarrass. So when you have questions about processes, about what is the correct way to go about things, what do? You just Google it. And sometimes Google is not very specific. Google is not medical school specific. And so I find that I waste a lot of time trying to scour the internet to find specific resources. I would either have to just search and then go through each thing that pops up on the search engine, or I would have to put that topic with USMLE at the end so that I'm able to find resources online that show specifically what I need. What embarrass is, it is a very, very comprehensive and big database full of information that you can search. You search it and it shows up a bunch of different articles and things that might be pertinent to what you're searching. They also have a question bank that you can use to answer questions. They have very hard questions, in my opinion. They are very specific and detail oriented. And so it does help build a foundation. They also have an Anki add-on, which is super cool. With this add-on from embarrass, you can just hover over the word and then embarrass will give you the definition. I swear, I'm not trying to sell you any of this stuff. I'm trying to explain to you just in case you're contemplating on if I should spend my money on it or if I shouldn't. And embarrass is a resource that you can use all 4 years because it has subjects for all 4 years. The 6-month option for embarrass is $229, and the 12-month option is $299, which is almost $300. But a lot of options for you to be able to get it for a cheaper rate. So number one is you can sign up to be an embarrass ambassador. So you can be any medical student anywhere, and you're able to apply to just speak and promote about embarrass at your school. It comes with very little commitment and a few Facebook posts or email posts to your classmates when embarrass is having news or if they're having a sale. So if you do that, you get free embarrass for your entire 4 years, and that's what I did. The second thing you can do is sign up for their scholarship. They give a bunch of scholarship for you to be able to get this resource for free. So you can just apply. You can do a half scholarship or a full scholarship, and that will give you either the whole cost of it covered or partial. The third thing is embarrass always loves going to schools and talking about their product. And so when they do this, they give you school-specific discount codes. And so these will also take off the amount that you have to pay. So what I'm trying to say is don't try buying embarrass straight up from the website. Next big resource that is 100% no medical student can go without is UWorld. And UWorld is basically a very massive question bank full of around 3,500 questions that you can do. And each question will give you thorough explanations and review of that topic. UWorld is so effective in raising scores for STEP is because it's in a question, answer, and learning format. So you do the question, you learn how to read the questions and how test takers are manipulating the question or trying to trick you, and then you're learning the reasoning behind why your answer choice was wrong and why the correct answer is the way it is. Many medical school gives this resource to their students, and so as an applicant interviewing at a school, I highly suggest that you ask if they give you UWorld, because basically all medical schools should give it to you, and if they aren't, then they're scamming you. UWorld costs around $419, and that includes 2 practice tests, which are very predictive of your step score. And it also comes with an option to reset the Q bank. The last resource I'm going to talk about is first aid. So this is my first aid. As you see, it has been loved well. Many questions from UWorld come from first aid. It's the textbook for step 1. It has everything in it. It goes by section, all the organ system. It teaches you public health, statistics. It goes physiology and pathology. So it's very comprehensive. But again, it's mostly stating facts like a textbook. Doesn't really explain a lot of reasoning processes. So you're gonna have to look for that in UWorld and Boards and Beyond. First aid is a good tool for memorization because it has a lot of fun mnemonics and ways you can remember material. It has a lot of good diagram and pictures. It is used as a reference book for most medical students. The book comes out with a new edition every year, and many people who are nervous about the book printing new material and information will actually get both of the books, because you start studying for step the year before step. Let's say that I'm taking step June 2021. Some people will buy first aid for 2020 and 2021 just so that they make sure that they have all the material they need. I personally think that's very excessive. You do not need that. You don't even need the most recent first aid. I used the 2019 first aid and I took my test June 2021. So it's all up to you. There is very, very little minute details that will be added each year. They might change the formatting a little bit. They might add a few sentences here and there. So do not worry, because that might be maybe one question, and UWorld will probably have it covered. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to have all the material. Even though it makes you feel safer to take the test, you don't need to spend all your money. First aid costs $55, but it's usually on sale on Amazon for $42 or $45. So try to catch it when it's that price. Or you can also sign up to be an AMA member. So AMA is a very big medical organization, and everybody that is a medical student or physician knows what AMA is. They are the governing body of physicians, and they basically have an input in any of the latest medical news, medical advocacy, and an AMA member costs $60 for 4 years of medical school, but it also comes with a free t-shirt, pins, and a free resource of your choice. And one of the resources that you can get is the first aid book. You can choose to get the current year or the latest year when it comes out. So that's what I did. I went through AMA since I was going to be a member anyways, and I got my first aid for free. Now I'm going to be talking to you about practice exams. So all these resources help you learn the material. It helps you consolidate and helps you get ready so that you don't have a knowledge gap when you're taking the exam. You need to take a couple of them before you're ready to take the step 1. I would be horrified if I just learn all this material and just go straight to the exam thinking I know everything, because how do you know everything? You're learning it, but you may not know unless you're tested. NBME is the body that makes USMLE. They make step 1. And so they provide you 5 practice tests that you can take. These tests cost $60 each. And so I took 3 tests in total. Remember, UWorld also gave me 2 extra practice tests, so I also took those, which total up to 5 practice tests that I took before I took my real step 1. The next little tool that I'm going to talk to you about that many med students can opt in or opt out, depending on their preference again, is a study scheduler. The most popular study scheduler is CramFighter. You can basically insert all of your resources and a time period, tell them how many hours you can spend a day doing step studying, and CramFighter will organize it all for you into a planner, and a day-to-day to-do list. Cram Fighter costs $79 for 3 months or $119 for 12 months. And I personally opt out of this. What I did was make an Excel instead. And an Excel might seem intimidating because you have to start from scratch, but I actually have mine available, and I will link it in this description below so that you're able to have a template of where to start. And there's also many free options that I will also list below that you can use so you don't have to buy a study scheduler. I thought it was just a waste of money for me because it was something that I can definitely make on my own. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the cost of the actual exam. Whew. These exams should not be costing that much. The cost of signing up for step 1 is $645. The cost of comlex is $660. There's also a practice test called the free 120. And the free 120 is basically publicly posted online, and you're able to take it at home for free. It's made by NBME, and it is a benchmark for the actual step 1 exam. What you can do though is you can opt to take this practice exam at a testing center and sit for it like a real exam a week before your step 1. And I would suggest you do this on 2 reasons. One, you have hella test anxiety. I basically have major test anxiety, especially trauma from my MCAT. So I felt for me it was necessary for me to take it at the testing center because I want to know how the testing center is going to be set up, how my breaks are, what's the atmosphere there like, do I need to bring a jacket? And the number 2 is if you just want a testing environment. If you do it at the testing center, they also give you a printout of your score, versus if you do it at home, you would have to tally it up yourself. Doing it at the testing center costed me around $75, but again, it was worth it for me. Different for everybody. I had many friends who took it at home and many who went to the testing center. The last category that I hate is rescheduling fees. So if I schedule my test right now and it's 3 months away, I can reschedule it anytime, back and forth, without paying a fee. But the thing is, many people don't find out that they need to reschedule their test until a month in, when they realize they are not scoring exactly what they need to be scoring. So by that time, there is a rescheduling fee. Rescheduling fee for step 1 is $50, and the rescheduling fee for comlex is $85. And for step 1, you have to pick a 3-month time period where you will take your test. Okay, so let's say I chose my time period to be April, May, June. Then I can only reschedule it within that time period, okay? If I happen to want to push it back further to July, then I would have to pay an additional fee to move that time period block over to July, August, September, and that will cost me $70. I know that they do it because we are desperate medical students and money does not matter when our grades are on the line. I had to reschedule my comlex, which costed $85. All of that in its original price tag would be $3,147. But based on my cost saving tips, I only spent $1,844. I want to put a disclaimer out there that there are many ways that you can get these resources for free. Just ask the upperclassmen in your school. But personally, I felt the free versions of all these resources has a downside to them. Maybe the quality isn't as good. They're not user-friendly. I'm not able to use it on my phone. I thought that buying these resources and sharing them with my classmates were much better use. And I'm also able to support these businesses to an extent versus just using everything for free. I hope you guys found this video educational, and if you guys want to know more information about STEP or MCAT, pre-med, all that stuff, then please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.